Hey guys, on to my next video today. Again, so my holiday to Mauritius was in April, end of April. My previous vid, Force Unleashed 1. This is the book I read not long before I went to Mauritius. This one I actually started reading right before, and I was actually reading on the plane, airport, and when I got there for a bit as well. So yeah, this is unlike all the other books, like the Force Unleashed one I just showed you, and the next one I'll be doing, Revan. This is like the first one that's actually not EU/Legends, but the new Disney canon. And much like I've gone into videos, I despise the Disney films, but one positive, it led me to finally read more than just the prequel trilogy EU, particularly anything after the OT, which obviously blows everything Disney did away. But I've been happy to read the Disney era ones as long as they're based around the first 6 films or Clone Wars show. Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that they're not well received, and the fact that we've not had a single book released set after episode 9 proves how bad it's gotten. I mean, as soon as they were much able to do books, they did for after episode 6, and yeah, we haven't got that. I know there were books to back up a characters, like I know the Phasma book, Resistance Reborn. I wouldn't read those. I just not when they're based on the series. I just can't stand. But anything based around what came before Disney is absolutely fine. And more Obi-Wan Qui-Gon, love that, because there's no question Obi-Wan Qui-Gon of like the films, you ignore later EU, I've got the only true father-son relationship. You know, a massive difference for Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon compared to say Obi-Wan and Anakin, anyone like that. And yeah, reading more of that was great, but only one major issue. This completely, discredits all the original EU stuff. Oh, my dog's got his carrot now. You hear that's him just falling to the ground over my chair. But yeah, basically, spoiler for old EU, or I think it's called Jedi Knights series. So I read them online, didn't know they were books. This was like 2003, 4. I was doing college when I was living in college. I was doing my work, the stuff I'd be looking up. So yeah, basically, Qui-Gon had an apprentice called Xanatos who turned to the dark side and killed himself facing Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and explains why Qui-Gon isn't much older than Obi-Wan. You know, you realise there's no way Obi-Wan could be Qui-Gon's first apprentice. He must have had another one. This doesn't mention him at all. I'm pretty sure, as they say, with the whole EU never doesn't count, or we have no source materials, EU didn't exist. I'm pretty sure it included everything, like even just telling authors, even anyone in a book that had no bearing on the films or whatsoever, just don't mention them. And same sort of thing here. So we're meant to assume Qui-Gon is Obi-Wan is Qui-Gon's first apprentice. But yeah, anyway, on to it then. So this is all a bit of their history. So God, I should have done this video ages ago. I can't remember the exact age. I think Obi-Wan, it must be about in his teens at this point, because he's 25 in Phantom Menace. That thing that's never changed. Even Qui-Gon's age like goes up and down. But yeah, basically Obi-Wan is like trying to follow the Jedi ideals, like you'd see him being like the overly strict master to Anakin in episode 2, more like focus on like Jedi rules and everything, whereas Qui-Gon's much more rebellious. And yeah, he's like, they don't get on too well. Obi-Wan's not met his full potential with Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon thinks Obi-Wan hasn't got enough like faith in him as a teacher, and that he's letting him down. Qui-Gon gets hears rumours he's going to be asked to join the Jedi Council, and thinks if he accepts it, Obi-Wan can have a better master. It does make me wonder if Qui-Gon does have any like self-loathing or self-doubt about his abilities based on that old story of his first failed apprentice. But it never comes up. It's nice when they leave you that sort of, it's left to interpretation like that. But yeah, Obi-Wan is like quite unhappy about that, and it does definitely cause problems between them. But basically by the end, everything resolved. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's kind of just bond, and like their relationship becomes perfect, and which is kind of what we're waiting for. So after seeing them as like the ideal, father-son master apprentice team in Phantom Menace, it is kind of disappointing to see that they had to put some tension. It reminds me of all these Simpsons flashbacks where Homer and Marge hate each other, and it's like, why are they doing this? Why would they even be together if it was always like this? When the good flashback episodes prove that was not the case. But yeah, it makes you think like, can they have told a better story than just how everyone challenging Qui-Gon's like take, the living force for either, was it the living versus the cosmic or the unifying force, something like that. So they could have done something more along those lines, but no, I didn't mind it. It's still nice to get them in that. And the author, was it Claudia Gray? Yeah, she definitely gets the characters, and there's some good stuff in there. You've got a bit of Dooku, you've got his first apprentice who meets up with Qui-Gon. Was he his second apprentice? No, I think it was his first one. That really matters. And yeah, you basically get some stuff going on there. You saw like how different what Dooku's first apprentice was. Him and Qui-Gon have a bit of a sparring match. Just that, yeah, his first apprentice like accidentally got killed by his hands in a like a raid or something. And yeah, Dooku's original apprentice is like really like down about that as well. Yeah, overall it's pretty forgettable plot. There's some good character moments, although there's one major issue. It's again more changing the timeline around. You know, Dooku, like, it was pretty much always established. Again, spoilers here for the original timeline and also the show, the one that did recently, Tales of the Jedi. So Dooku was unhappy with how the Republic was going, and then the Jedi were just their tools and just following orders no matter what. Kind of like how Qui-Gon thought it was wrong to follow orders, but to do what was right no matter what. Why he would never be on the Jedi Council for his different opinions to the Council. But yeah, basically, Dooku had his problems. Also didn't like the Republic was falling apart. Then Darth Maul revealed himself and like killed Qui-Gon, and Dooku believed that there's an action of just the Council shouldn't just send 2 Jedi there. If they should have sent a bigger attack team or not force Jedi into it whatsoever. Gets mad, leaves Jedi Order, plans to seek revenge against like whoever trained Darth Maul, but instead that person reveals himself to Dooku, explains everything that happened, and gets Dooku under his influence, and it joins him, and then does stuff like delete Kamino and kills Cypher DS, who created the Clone Army but told Dooku, kills him to cover it up, and then hope the Jedi never find out until they accidentally find it out in Episode 2. This changes it, so, I mean, Clone Wars already changes that Dooku just had Cypher DS killed, didn't do it himself, and then Tales of the Jedi shows that his first kill was Yaddle, the one from Yoda's species, even though it should be Cypher DS as like the person you sacrifice as part of your like descent to the dark side. I'm for talking sacrifice from the EU terms there, but no, in this, Dooku's left the Jedi Order 8 years before Phantom Menace starts, which makes no sense, and how can he possibly delete Kamino if he's not even a Jedi at that point? Because that's obviously his other thing he did, wipe the records while he was on the with the Jedi Order. But yeah, they changed it to him leaving the Jedi 8 years ago, unless he rejoined it just to leave again. And again, Tales Jedi messed that up by having him be in league with Darth Sidious, Palpatine, before Phantom Menace events, which is complete garbage because it didn't. His part of joining Palpatine was effectively initially planning revenge, killing him for what he'd done, and then until Darth Sidious, in his usual way, explained why he did what he did. And my dog's looking at me. It was my coughing. Do you have any recognise something wrong? That's a good boy. He's a good boy. Yeah. So yeah, that bugs me about this changing the timeline, especially as since Disney took over, said everything will flow together, comics, books, films, TV shows, nothing will contradict it. We've seen over and over again. As my biggest problem with Dave Filoni, he changes stuff like that. Yaddle's death, for example, whenever he feels like it, and yeah, I don't know, inserting Cal Kestis, no, Caleb Doom rather into one of those TV shows when the comic made clear how he survived Order 66, just put a recognisable face in. So yeah, and that's a big part of this. Did this all even know, like, how Dooku leaving the Jedi Order was very much because of Qui-Gon's death, final straw, I don't know. But ignoring that though, overall, good story, and yeah, definitely worth a read if you want a bit more of like their time together. And yeah, I really should pick up the Brotherhood book, the Obi-Wan Anakin one, just to see what that's like. But yeah, that's it. So overall, good story. My first one I've read of new canon, unless you count like Rogue One and Catalyst, or no, let's say my first one of the new canon prequel era Star Wars, because yeah, I read mid ones like Tarkin and Lords of the Sith. But yeah, overall good book. It's actually want to give a gift for my wife ages ago. Before I should finally give it a go, and yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Could have been a lot better for all the problems I've said, but overall, yeah, definitely a good read. It does depend though if you don't want to see any tension between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. I know there was that one scene in Phantom Menace, but Obi-Wan like apologised for his actions, and yeah, everything is forgiven. Qui-Gon doesn't blame him. But yeah, there's some bad like that. But depends if you want to read that really. But yeah, enjoy.